Well, so and this is the part again that just I just can't get my mind around it. That why would the Germans do this? I mean, why would they continue to persist with this and shut off their nuclear plants? So address we talked about the coal. So is it that the Green Party is that strong that despite all the facts that we're seeing, despite the fact Nord Stream has been blown up, despite the fact Europe is saying we're not going to go back to Russian gas, despite the fact that they're burning lignite, which is the most carbon intensive method of electricity generation, why in the name of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph are they closing their nuclear plants?
Look, because they were told they wouldn't have to sacrifice anything. They could turn off the nuclear, turn off the coal, have as many renewables as they wanted, take it as long as they wanted in the transition. If it was a more aggressive, green oriented government, they could say our transition will only take 10 years. If they were a less aggressive, more, I don't know, business oriented German government, they could say it'll take a little longer. Don't worry about it. But as long as that Nord Stream pipeline came in, Robert, they were building enough gas plants and planning to import enough gas from their best buds, Russia, in order to have everything phase out. And if you combine natural gas with tons of renewables, you can get those CO2 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour numbers. You can get them pretty low. Not low like France or Sweden, or not low enough to meet your climate goals, but you could get the progress that seems like it's headed in the correct direction, and you could just keep squeezing it more and more renewables, fewer and fewer bursts of gas power. That was the plan, right? So they built the pipeline and started closing the nuclear reactors. Yep, got it, right?
Yeah, with you so
And they
far.
started closing their hard coal mines, that's the black coal, but keeping the lignite. Then they started taking coal plants and putting them on, say, mothballing them, just putting them on like a 5-year storage plan
Right.
where you wouldn't just get rid of a nuclear plant just because you wouldn't get rid of a coal plant just because you're closing it. That's for the poor countries that can't afford to just keep up a bunch of plants that they're not using. No, Germany's rich. So while they were urging other countries to turn off their nuclear and coal, they were keeping their coal plants and building Nord Stream, right? Nord Stream, 55 BCM, 55 billion cubic meters per year of gas, doubling Nord Stream 1. That's up to 110 billion cubic meters of gas per year. You could turn off the coal. You can turn off the nuclear. That's enough. Then
But
the war
now, but
started.
now the
Russia
world,
turned
but
off the
now the
flow and
world,
somebody blew up the pipeline.
right,
So
but now the world has changed, and yet they still haven't. They still haven't done an about face.
has it really changed, Robert? They can survive this winter. Maybe that means nothing's changed at all.
Well, then let's talk.
Also,
Well, then let's
also,
talk.
Germany is not like Germany isn't poor like the UK is, or Italy or Spain or those other poor countries. Germany's proper rich, which means that they can rapidly build a bunch of liquefied natural gas terminals, LNG terminals, super fast, no issues with environmental permits. No, times have changed, right? So they got that built real fast. They're going to build 5 import terminals, and they're going around signing expensive, relatively short-term deals compared to cheaper, longer-term deals because climate change. They're going to phase it all out, right? It's just temporary measures to replace their gas pipeline from Russia that got blown up. So they're building these LNG terminals, and then they're finding plenty of natural gas. It used to be headed for poor countries, but poor countries don't need it. Germany can make what those countries need, right? So Germany is taking gas supplies that the market had expected to send to developing countries because
Pac-
German
Pakistan
funded
and
institutions like
Pakistan
World Bank
Pakistan
have been
and
encouraging.
Bangladesh those countries were among them, right? That
Exactly. So
they've
countries have been
effectively been
encouraged.
priced out of the market for that LNG that's now going to go to Germany. And you mentioned the LNG terminal. They built one that was in like 3 months, 100 days or something. They built one incredibly quickly, which
It's why
was
you can never count out the Germans. Other countries are much more likely to suffer from German policy mistakes than Germany is.
wow.
They're
That's
that organized.